This is the G Podcast with your host, Tommy B.
Hey, what's up, y'all? Welcome to the G Podcast. It's another week, and I just have to do this one more time. I had to do it because it's another Biden-Harris week. I won't even say I'm dropping elect because they're working and the other dude is on the golf course. So should we even acknowledge him? Continue? I mean,
look, he's on the golf course, or he's eating Kentucky Fried Chicken or Big Mac. So
I just, so I'm just not even. I'm just going to say President Biden and Vice President Harris. I mean, I'm dropping elect. So I don't know. What's up, y'all? Welcome to the G Podcast. Another week. Every week we do news, politics, pop culture, that piping hot tea from Tanya B, who's in the building. You just heard her. Vi, you in the building, man? Let me take you off. Hang on, because I had to put him on mute.
Well, that's usually me.
No. As soon as the show starts, the mic starts moving around.
That's because he's collecting his snacks, and I'm not mad at him. I'll just do mine.
Oh my God!
When Syracuse Mike comes on,
cheering. That's Southern, y'all. Hey, but every week we do that piping hot tea, which is coming up from Tanya B. I'm in a good mood. You know why I'm in a good mood? We're gonna talk about it in just a few minutes. I'm in a good mood because of Jingle Jangle. I wasn't gonna watch it this week. And I said, damn, I may as well, I'm getting to the Christmas spirit, and we're going to talk about it. At least I'm going to talk about it. Vi, did you see it? Have you seen it yet on Netflix?
I said I was going to wait.
You're going to wait? Okay. What about you, Tanya B?
I don't know. I guess call me a bah humbug. I'm going to go watch it just to see, because it has gotten some good reviews. So I'm going to wait a minute, but I will watch it though.
I will give my review. Okay. And y'all
give your review. Give
my review. Okay. And before we get into what we normally get into, we have a special guest and a good friend of the show, Sanu Estelle. She has her own podcast, Get at the Root, and she does another show called This Week. She's a member of the Castropolis Network. I don't know if it's been about a year, but she did, send a picture over, and it was her and this guest who were, who they were standing next to at an event or restaurant. I don't know if it was a restaurant, but it was Stevie Wonder, y'all. So Stevie. So
did he know?
Yeah, so I'm excited to have a new podcast, a new member of the network, and I think she's here. Anya, are you in the building? I see you. You might have to unmute your mic, but she is in the building. If not, she'll come up in a few minutes. And she's got a new podcast called O's Corner. She's part of the Castropolis Podcast Network. And I wanted her to come on to talk about her new podcast. And let me send her a mic. Let's see. Da-da-da. Okay, she's coming up on camera. There she is. Hey, Anya. Hey, by the way, go ahead and unmute your mic because you're muted. But she has a podcast. She does healing. She does a lot of different things. And I want to have her explain exactly, what that's all about. But hang on, let me do that for you. Okay, hang on. So,
hi. All right, she's here.
I'm here.
So y'all,
hello.
So y'all,
ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, thank you so much.
Yes,
Anya is in the building, and let me give her. I want to give you an applause first and foremost because Tanya B, she made it partially through my podcast curriculum. So
partially, I'm getting there.
You're there.
I'm gonna be teacher's pet.
She's kicking it. She's doing her thing. But first of all, thank you so much. I know you have another event coming up. You're in LA, over in LA, and you got an event coming up real soon. I wanted to just get you in here for a few minutes. Thank you so much for stopping by, Onyi. And it's onyi.love is the website. And it's an amazing website.
www.onyi.love is my website. And I am Onyi of Onyi Love, which is my company name.
Excellent. So tell us what you do. And it plays into kind of where I'm trying to get mentally after all the mess of 2020. So tell us what you do. Tell us what you do, Onyi.
Well, I would say the two broad categories of who I am and what I do are artist and healer. As an artist, I perform using my voice. I'm a singer, songstress, and I play a few different instruments, whether to accompany myself or to play in combination with other individuals that are musicians as well. And I dance. So, I never really considered myself a dancer before, but because I incorporate a lot of different styles and also because of the work that I do, people feel some sort of energy when they see me move. And I think it reminds them of their own ability to move.
Excellent.
And to move energy throughout their body as one way to kind of deal with anything that they're experiencing in life. So the art and then the healing, which the two really overlap. Sometimes you never know where one starts and the other one ends. To me, they're just kind of one. And in terms of my healing work, I do laying of the hands energy work. I do spiritual life coaching, counseling. I do ritual and ceremony. I do sound healing. And really, I see it that, I'm not the one healing you. I think that's a big misconception. People go to someone to heal them. Mm-hmm. We heal ourselves. Mm-hmm. Our bodies, our beings are self-healing mechanisms. Mm-hmm. We know what it looks like on a fundamental level in order to be in balance, to be centered, to be whole, whatever whole looks like for any of us. But because of our minds, because of all sorts of things that we then collapse into, we take ourselves out of balance. Mm-hmm. And we ultimately bring ourselves in balance using whatever reflection or permission slip or tool that we need, whether it's a person that we go to for a specific modality, whether it's just going outside and being with plants and trees and the water and the mountains and so forth, or anything else. But we're using those things to trigger within ourselves our healing mechanism.
So tell us about the podcast. And you just launched just a welcome message, but you've got some more coming up with the podcast. So tell us, about your podcast.
Definitely. So it's called O's Corner, and O represents a lot of different things for me, including my name, Onyi, and I have other names that start with O as well. So I thought it was just fitting. And it really is a space for people and myself to come into and talk about a variety of topics and really getting at the root of the fact that, we all may come from different perspectives and different ideas, but we can come together and pull our knowledge, our data, our information together in order to create a collective wisdom to help us to recognize just, what the truth is, in and of itself, if there is an ultimate truth, which, that's debatable, but really what the truth is for us. We all operate from our own truth. And to me, it's a matter of tapping into that, living a life of joy, of excitement, of integrity, and navigating all things that are around us in order to just really do what we came here to do on this earth. And so the topics range from metaphysics, spirituality, physics, to love, sex, and dating, because I have a lot of questions about what people are doing when it comes to that, because sometimes I don't know, to, spotlighting different people that are doing just really amazing things out in the world, whether they're my own friends and colleagues or people that I encounter that I'm just inspired by. And then anything, depending on whatever spirit wants to bring through, because again, we're all channeling, and, I'm channeling my specific energy or the energy of life in a unique way. Mm-hmm. And spirit just talks to me. Spirit just gives me messages. And when you allow and don't really collapse into a rigidity about what something needs to look like, then you allow for the flow of life, which life just flows. Life works when we just let it. It's us who try to control everything. And when we just sit and let it be, then we can see so much of the magic that is just ingrained within everything.
Good stuff. Good stuff. So this is the question I wanted to ask, and we kind of talked about it briefly. I'm not going to ask how much sage will it take to clean the White House. I'm not even going to ask that one. but
dump the whole White House into just dump it all.
but with all the unrest and especially with the pandemic and everything that 2020 has been, and really the last 4 years. I mean, with what you do, how has it impacted what you do as a healer? And can you give us any maybe, I mean, don't give us all the tips, but because I know it's individual. You said people have to really kind of heal themselves, but from your perspective, how do you deal with it, and what are some tips you can give people?
So the way it's affected me, and then I think what I reflect out to everybody, is just this constant reminder to be grounded. constant reminder because there's so much happening there's stuff is happening all the time. Mm-hmm. Everyone's like 2020, oh my God, 2020. But at every given time, across all time, all of the times, something is happening somewhere on Earth. So there are things that are always happening, and it's really our own responsibility to really be grounded and centered in our peace, in our joy, so that as those things are happening, we're not completely just collapsing into them and then just getting caught up in the turmoil and the whirlwind and just flying all over the place. Yeah. But we're really sitting in the eye of the storm. So we can kind of see it all happening. We're watching it, so it's not like we're ignoring it and in denial, but we're seeing it happening. But we're so grounded that we're able to watch and see how it affects us and see how we can use it as a way to become better versions of ourselves. More rooted versions of ourselves. So part of the work is using everything. People can be so reactive. Someone says something, and there's a lot of key players that say a lot of things that people react to. And then people just, oh my God, this person said that thing. And then they pile on the negativity through their reactions versus, okay, the person said that thing. How is it striking me? What is it reminding me within myself that I maybe need to sit with, process, heal, become at peace with, and thank that reflection out there that did the thing that triggered the recognition within me, and say thank you for being who you are so that it helps me see who I am and what I need to do, and keep a pressing, keep a pushing. Yeah. Like keep going. Don't get locked in and stuck, and it's even interesting. People think, okay, this person is what we consider terrible. So like, F that person and like, that person. I'm like, but look at you collapsing into that negativity and spewing out negativity where you can just immediately see, oh, I don't prefer what that person's doing. Now let me do something in a different direction because now I'm inspired based on the fact that I see that person's doing something negative. So I'm going to turn it completely around and do something positive.
Good stuff. So I can't even do the podcast now, y'all. No, I'm kidding.
But if you're having fun, that's the thing. That's the other part. And this has come up a lot lately of just being in your joy and your comedy and humor. Yeah. Because if it's coming from a place of humor, that's what we all need, to laugh, to be enjoyed, to play. So if you're doing it and y'all getting laughs and it's raising our vibration, I'm like, do it. But there's a fine line between it's bringing us humor and comedy and joy and you getting stuck and spiraling into the negativity.
So true. So true. Good stuff. You got any questions by Tanya B?
No, one thing that I've found that I've done, and I believe I'm more in the majority than the minority, is I have had to disconnect from watching the news. I would always try to do it at least once a day. Sometimes I would do it, I'd go over to CNN, go over here. I'm like, it was just throwing my chi off. So, because again, like you said, there were, and just like anything else, there are those trigger words that people use, and people that I find that manipulate are really good at finding those words. Hence the person that's, in the White House right now.
Yeah.
So one thing I find that has worked for me is less news. Again, I found a lot of old TV shows that bring back good memories that I watch, and I live for that. And I don't, the 11 o'clock news, I go to Antenna TV and watch a show from the 80s called Designing Women.
What?
What do you mean, what? It's about 4 powerful women in Atlanta who become the interior designers. Everybody gets their laugh a different way. That's what I do.
Okay.
You go with your Designing Women. Do not hate.
He knows better. But anyway, so that's what I've done. And even when I've even turned off the news feeds on my phone, if something is, you get an alert here and there, but I've had to disconnect from that. Wow. Because it was just too much. And to me, it wasn't worth my energy. I'm not letting that negativity just come in and sap, anything from me. And, just again, I don't want those triggers around me. And I think if people, because all you see on the news is politics and COVID.
Wow.
Depressing and more depressing. And although, what's going on in the world is real, it's just like overload, and like the media to me is just overdoing it, man. It's like enough. I mean, there's got to be some good news and somebody doing something good somewhere. And that's what I'm looking for.
Okay.
You gotta guard and protect your joy and peace.
Correct.
At the end of the day. So if that's shutting off your phone, if that is shutting off the TV, if that's going outside and just lying under a tree, hugging the tree, if that is touching your head to the earth, whatever you got to do it. I mean, on the election, as election day, I was like, I'm not looking at my phone because I know if I start scrolling through the feeds, I'm going to see stuff. I was on my computer working on my business, and I got a little alert on my computer. It was like, and Biden did it. I was like, nope. Okay, we're going to turn off notifications.
Exactly. It's like that diversion is not one that I think, serves anybody well.
Yeah. And I think the other part of it too is, again, in a perfect quotes world, anything that happens, we'll be able to look at it, be like, woo, it doesn't matter. We're just knocking it. But we all have to know what those things are that take us out of our peace. And then the other thing is too, you can use that strategically. So let's say you know that, okay, if I watch the news, I might get triggered. But if I want to trigger myself to see what my personal history is, what stuff needs to clear out for me, I say use everything. Okay, so watch a little bit of that news. You hear that word, you're like, oh, that didn't feel good. Then you say, oh, okay, wait, why did that word not feel good to me? What do I need to dig into that caused that word to have a specific reaction within me? And what work do I need to do to excavate it? That's like you taking it to a whole nother level. Now you using everything to help you heal yourself.
Good stuff. Well, I'm looking forward to the podcast. It is O's Corner. Should be out in a few weeks.
Yes, it is. Every Friday at 5. And the first episode, full episode, would be December 4th, that Friday.
Good stuff. Good stuff. And it's onyi.love. Love her website. The URL, onyi.love. And how can people connect with you real quick? I know you got a role. What's the best way?
So you can, again, visit my website, www.onyi.love. I'm on Instagram @onyi.love. I have an event that I'm, heading off to that's from 3 to 8 Pacific time. And then we have an after dark from 9 till 1 a.m. PM Pacific time called Soul Sessions. So you can tap into that live, and the IG account is @Soul Sessions. And we'll have a lot of different artists, poets, instrumentalists, just a lot of individuals that are bringing joy and bringing peace as a balm to your soul. So definitely join us and stay connected.
Good stuff. Onyi, thank you so much for taking the time.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
And is it virtual or are you guys doing that? Or are you heading to it?
This is live. We had to adapt to the time. So we, they started live in person, and then we had to adjust to live virtual. And so at some point we have a lot coming up in terms of just live again in person to really reestablish that in-person touch that we all love so much.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Well, let's give it up, y'all.
Awesome.
Give it.
Yes.
Thank you so much for having me, everyone. I appreciate it so much.
All right.
Thank you for sharing.
Thank you so much, and good luck with the event. Thanks for coming by.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Bye, everyone.
All right, y'all. Hey, Vi, Tanya B, let's do this. Let's go and do news headlines. Don't shut it off, Tanya B.
I gotta go get my snack. I need my snack. Okay.
All right, let's do the news headlines and we'll be right back. Here we go.
News team, assemble!
It's time for the Week in News with Syracuse Mike.
As promised, President-elect Joe Biden unveiled his COVID advisory board.
I've named a COVID-19 Transition Advisory Board, comprised of distinguished public health experts, to help our transition team translate the Biden-Harris COVID-19 plan into action.
Biden also highlighted drug company Pfizer, who said Monday that their COVID-19 vaccine was more than 90% effective. Biden urged Americans to wear masks because it may not be widely available for many months. President-elect Joe Biden called President Trump's refusal to accept the election results an embarrassment and indicated he believes it will also tarnish the president's legacy. At a press conference Tuesday, Mr. Biden also said nothing would stop the transfer of power in the U.S. government. The vote recount is currently underway, and officials say don't expect it to change the outcome of the presidential race in Georgia. Voting systems manager Gabe Sterling says it should put to rest those who question how the election is handled in the Peach State.
There are people out there that just fundamentally will not believe the outcome unless they say, I don't trust those computers, so I need a human being to have looked at that to make sure it was right.
Right now, President-elect Joe Biden leads President Trump by more than 14,000 votes in Georgia. A judge has denied bond for the father and son charged with the murder of Ahmaud Arbery in February. The decision came after Gregory McMichael and Travis McMichael appeared via video conference for their bond hearing in Glenn County this week. Arbery's mother, Wanda Cooper Jones, said, quote, "I'm relieved they'll stay behind bars. Today was a good day."
Hey, y'all, and want to thank Syracuse Mike for giving us headlines this week. But a couple of things before we move on. And I know, Tanya B., you mentioned it when we were talking on you about COVID, but we're over 11 million. Did you expect that, Vi? Did you expect 11 million?
I did.
You did? I mean,
yes, I did.
What about you, Tanya B.? Did you expect?
I was hoping it would be less, but I'm not surprised that it's not more. But we are definitely going into, another serious uptick or increase in COVID, and people need to understand Texas is now number one. And I looked at all the cases of COVID, I think like globally, and 10% of them are in this country.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's amazing.
Because we still believe it's about our rights.
Yeah.
We're more worried about our rights than about safety.
Being alive, yeah.
Being alive,
And the problem with that is, God, the African-American community, Black community, twice as likely to die, 5 times as likely to be hospitalized. That's Black and Hispanic. And people are still doing these crowded situations. Yep. The close physical contact, in enclosed spaces. And a lot of it also has to do with, duration of exposure. People go to an event for a few hours and stay close. So, as we tape the podcast, we're talking about 11 million cases and 245,000 deaths in the U.S. And it's just, just staggering, man. And you gotta, prayers go up, man, for all the folks who are losing people, but we've got to do better with the social distancing and the mask, man. We just have to. I mean, to politicize it is just incredible to me. I mean,
we're still doing it.
And you saw, because as we tape the podcast, on a Sunday, it's the Sunday after the Million Maggots Million MAGA March. And nobody had masks.
That's a lie. The thousand maggot march.
The 100 MAGA. Let's call a thing a thing.
So it's just amazing to me, and then you've got it's almost psychosis. The way you've got people like Mike Pompeo and Kelly McEnany, all these folks who are just gaslighting the American public. And even about the election, to the point where they're saying I don't know if y'all heard did y'all hear Pompeo is the Secretary of State. So I heard it. He's the leading ambassador of the world, supposedly. And his comment was, "Oh yeah, we'll be transitioning to a second Trump term." And and it just, I'm to a point where I don't even want my, I've got a Gen Z up in the house, or a young one, and I don't even want, I don't want her watching, news coverage, man, because I did allow Biden and Kamala Harris to, that to be viewed, but no to 45. Even the tweets right now, it's just. When does it go beyond strategy to psychosis? Psychosis.
But
it's already there.
And delusion.
But it's our fault for letting them do it. If we start listening to him and stop showing it, he'll stop doing it.
Well, I
ignore him.
I ignore him. I don't even, when I see him come on now, I just turn it off. And when I see I don't watch the press conferences anymore. And it's amazing now. Well, not amazing, because they should have been doing it a while back. The news people are just shutting them down. They're not even talking about, they're not covering them in full, in total. And when they start to get into the conspiracy stuff, they shut it off, which I think they should have been doing, 3 years ago.
A long time ago.
And it's just amazing to me. So I don't know. It gets beyond strategy to lying, to psychosis, psychotic behavior, and just delusion, and it's just amazing because 70, how many people voted for this dude? 70 million?
When it's 72 million?
72 million? Are
72 million people voted for him. I said, wow. That's what I'm more mad about.
It's just amazing. So I want to mention that because, I hope that one of the things I do want people to understand, and Tanya B, you may pick up on this. You're in marketing. I think people, I'm going to say this to my folks who listen to the podcast. Here's my rationale. No conspiracy theory. But what it feels like to me, there are a couple of things. They are still pushing to get their base riled up for fundraising because he needs money leaving office.
He needs money.
He knows.
Well, he's already stolen $1 billion. How much more does he need? Because he wants them to give him money because he gets to keep it. That's why.
Yes, he needs money long term because keep in mind, as we talked about a month ago, there's money that's coming due on loan. So I think he needs money. And I also think he knows that we know that he's going to be in court. So there are going to be some legal expenses beyond the legal stuff they're talking about with the election. But I think, with SDNY, I think he's also trying to get money for his legal defense fund in general, because once he loses political immunity, it's on. It's on.
It's on.
Yeah.
I mean, he's
already about trying to pardon himself. How you going to pardon yourself if you're not the president?
I mean, yeah, pardoning himself. And the other thing I think that we're getting this quote unquote alternate universe of facts is I think they're looking to try to launch a new media company. I don't know if it's going to be digital, but the word is, he's also looking to try to do a media company. So this is hype ahead of the fact that he's looking to do, because they're already out there chanting Fox sucks. So I think.
Well, now Fox turned on him, but remember he tried Trump TV and that didn't work. But
yeah.
Like many other things he's embarked upon.
Well, he's trying to keep the momentum supposedly coming off this, whatever it was. And it's just it just goes to show you again that this guy really doesn't care about the U.S. He doesn't care about America, man. This is all about him. This is all about his enterprise. So
he's one. I say he's one tanning session away from being like Jim Jones, because people are believing it. It's like a brainwashed cult. I'm just waiting for them all to get on a plane with him to go to Moscow and drink some Kool-Aid.
Oh, it does remind me of that. It definitely does remind me of that.
Really?
Yep.
Believing a lie, that's like one step away from insanity. When you do something over and over again and expect a different result, insanity.
I agree. Hey, just a couple of good on the good side with Biden. I gotta give him kudos. 46% of Biden's transition team are people of color, and that already is an amazing start. 41% of the senior staff are people of color. 52% of women. And 53% of the senior staff are women. I mean, already out of the box, they're really trying to set a tone of diversity. So I got to give it to, kudos to Biden Harris for coming out of the box, man, trying to change the atmosphere. So hopefully they can continue. Folks, you're hearing about this thing with Warnock if you're in the state of Georgia, and it's now Georgia really is on the map as of national importance. And supposedly back in New York in 1995, he was supposedly in charge of this thing with Castro at his church. And already, y'all know Politico. Politico's already come out and said that Loeffler's, I call her Ann Coulter Jr., has lied about this because there's no evidence to prove that Warnock was involved in arranging the speech where Castro in 1995 at this church, nor did he have anything to do with welcoming him. He was just a youth pastor. So, as we all know, the youth pastor, unless it's a youth event,
he ain't got no juice. He got no juice.
No juice.
So, Loeffler, of course, is doing this. Hats off and kudos to Candace Parker. She wore a Vote Warnock Of course, Candace Parker's a WNBA basketballer. And, she wore a Boat Warnock T-shirt. Loeffler owns the Atlanta Dream WNBA team. So, that's kind of a slap in the face to an owner of a WNBA team.
She needed to get slapped in the face.
Well, she already know they don't like her. They asked her to leave.
Yeah, they've already asked her.
She won't show up because I'm telling those are those girls from 6th grade. Everybody knew one that would beat up everybody in the class with one hand behind their back and beat up the boys. Trust me. Yeah. She's a chick that would run 3 feet and fall on her face. And then, she's scared to face those women. And she told them not to do that. And you can see they're like, okay, and what are you going to do?
Yeah. Yeah. So kudos to Candace Parker for doing that. And we'll see who else, jumps in line to do the same thing. And, again, the Million MAGA or Maggots March, it just seems to me it's almost like the Confederacy, Like it is.
Right. They actually have
45 mini Confederacy
on Fox showing handwritten, said, "We're coming for you." It said blacks and Indians.
What?
Handwritten poster.
Have you heard the #1 song on iTunes this week?
What was it? What?
By YG. Donald Trump.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's not the best hip hop song you'll ever see, but I think people share the sentiment. That was being played in certain cities last week as well. But I'm sure I want to be #1, but not that way. He's probably, I'm sure he's having a meltdown somewhere. But yes, Donald Trump.
Yeah, it is fitting.
It's #1 on iTunes this week.
It is definitely fitting.
Oh, absolutely. I said, and it speaks to the sentiment of a lot of people. So,
excellent. Well,
God bless hip hop.
That's what I'm saying. In this occasion, I don't want to get my blood pressure up about them other dudes. But yeah, what's his name? YG, right?
Yeah, yes,
good
YG.
Stuff. I'm gonna give him.
YG haven't hit a lick in a while, but he hit a lick this time.
Yes, he did. I think I saw John Legend and what's her name and his wife. They were
Chrissy.
Chrissy. They were playing it. So hey, let's do this. Let's go ahead and take a break, and we'll come back with Mo with that Tanya BT in just a minute.
All right, come on.
Now then, children, it's time for tea.
It's tea time, y'all. Sipping the tea with Tanya B.
Y'all know what time it is. What you got, Tanya B?
Oh, Lord, I got so much tea up in here. Okay, turn the fan on because it's about to get hot in here. I don't know if I mentioned last week, there was, how you can take a little something and it blows up. And Beyonce is gracing the cover of British Vogue this month. And I heard a very, really good interview. And there was some reference to her retiring. Now, good and well, Beyonce is not retiring from anything.
Damn.
The only thing she may have to retire from right now is live performing. That's due to COVID. But there is hope because I'm hearing that she's actually going to be doing a virtual concert and trying to do it like an IMAX form, which you can watch on your TV or on any mobile device of your choice. So, okay, you know what? You're not going to have to pay $50 to park. You don't have to pay $40 for a margarita and $50 more for some nachos. But for being able to enjoy all things Bay in the comfort of your home, and I think people will go up for it. The Beehive will sell it out, but that would be interesting for her to do that because, again, like Anya was saying, we need a diversion, we need to laugh, we need to be entertained, and
yeah, I mean, I think, and the infrastructure is already there. I don't know if y'all know, and I know most of the movie theaters are closed, but some of them have, as long as you do the social distancing. Y'all know the Metropolitan Opera has been doing it for years, where they do they're live from the Met on Saturdays at certain theaters. So it wouldn't be difficult to just digitally send it out, even to all the theaters. You know what I'm saying, Tanya B? So
and then it'll go straight to video and people will buy it.
Yep. So that's already been done. So I think that's an excellent idea for somebody, of her magnitude. Yeah. She should definitely.
But are you ready? All my ladies of the 80s and the 90s.
Too much money. She needs money. She needs money.
Huh?
I mean, she needs money. I don't think I don't think her.
Who needs money?
Beyonce. I don't think they're independently wealthy yet. I think they got a lot of money, but all it takes is a crash, and I think they need to keep working. I don't think it's over yet.
Have you forgotten about Drip 2?
What's that?
That's her clothing line that came out about a week ago.
Yeah. I mean, well, what? Drip. If it sells to that extent, more power to her. I don't blame her.
But I think she's, from just based on where she comes from, she's smart enough to do what Michael Jackson did not do, and that is to adjust your lifestyle. If the money's not coming in like it was, and it's still going out, do that. But I mean, look at how many times she's been able to take a couple of years off here and there, and she still has other streams of income. Yeah,
so true.
Which is smart. And what a lot of people don't know about her is back when in the early 2000s. She and her dad and Michelle Williams as well, they actually were some of the first investors in the WNBA.
Wow. Okay. Well, good stuff.
So they have that. So yeah, I think she'll be smart with her money. She's by no means is she. Hey, she's still giving money away, so you can't give away what you don't have.
Yeah, so true. What else you got?
Okay, so like I was saying, all my ladies of the 80s, and 90s, everybody remembers 1995's number one chick flick was Waiting to Exhale by Terry McMillan.
Yep.
Well, Miss McMillan has reclaimed, I guess, if you will, her rights to that book. And now with the direction of Lee Daniels, it is scheduled to become a TV show. So are you ready for Waiting to Exhale on television? So again, it's not so much focused on the main characters. We have, Whitney Houston, rest in peace, Layla Rashawn, Angela Bassett, and Loretta Devine. What this show is going to focus on is their children.
Okay.
Now, you may remember in the movie, Loretta Devine was a single mother of a son, and Bernadine, Angela Bassett, classic. Mm-hmm. Took the man's clothes, put him in the BMW, lit her a cigarette, and called the Ohio Players because she set that thing on fire.
She did. Yeah.
Yes.
I just,
so I wonder
Vi got that look on his face too. Is it too late? Is it kind of like, I don't know. I mean, like Waiting to Exhale. Who you going after?
Anything dealing with women right now is on.
Yeah, but I remember. Okay, so Lena Waithe tried to do the Boomerang on BET, kind of a sequel TV show.
I saw that.
Yeah,
I watched it,
and it really hasn't done well, from a rating standpoint. So I'm just curious. I mean, so what's it going to be on? What network is this, Tanya B?
No network has been identified yet. But I'm thinking with Lee Daniels, he's probably going to go over to Fox. It's either Fox or Netflix. Where do people of color go? I mean, really.
Yeah, good luck with one of those. Don't go to BET.
Damn, wait a minute. Don't hate. Please. Don't hate. Let me do that.
I'm not hating.
I'm joking. Well, good luck. I mean, good luck. Good luck, Lee.
Right. Like I said, I wonder who would play them. Then you got to remember also, there was some very strong men of color involved in that movie. In the original, directed by Forrest Whitaker.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
People, and then you had
Dennis Haysbert,
the good hands man, the late Gregory Hines and Wendell Pierce, who was on The Wire. You had Michael Beach and Wesley Snipes, who just did his part and went uncredited in the movie.
Yeah.
So you had some strong actors up in there. Oh, we've got Leon was in there too.
Well, it'll be interesting. I just hope I hope maybe he's doing it so he can pay Damon Dash. So I'll leave it at that.
He already paid Dame Dash. But Dame Dash needed that money, honey. Trust me. Lee Daniels was like, oh, I forgot. Money here. Boop, bye.
What you got next? What's next?
I mean, that was some old pocket change he paid him. Yeah. Does anybody care about mega church pastor John Gray? Because I'm about sick of him.
Nah, keep it moving. No, wait a minute. Vi, you care. What do you do now? Okay. All right.
We know what he did.
So I'll just say this. We'll just call him the relentless cheater. How about that?
All right. Next. Okay.
His apologies. Quit names, please. Anyway.
All right. What else you got?
Let's talk about The Weeknd confirmed that he's going to perform at the Super Bowl 2021. And I'm like, okay, and who else? Because again, he's for the millennials. And last I checked, I don't know if that was a segment of the demographic that even watches a Super Bowl.
But let me say this: he ain't Bruno Mars. I mean, I'm just saying, Bruno got away with it.
Look, he ain't Bruno Sammartino, so catch that.
I didn't even know who he was.
Well, Vi, I didn't expect you to know who he was, but I'm just saying.
See, I'm the people who watch the Super Bowl.
Yeah, you are.
That's right.
You are. Yes, you are. But when I saw the news, I did say, is it too soon? But we'll see. Couldn't they get Britney Spears?
Look, she said as long as her father's controlling her money, she's not even going to work. But it must be nice to be able to say that and not have to work. But if it weren't for her father, that girl would be living in a van down by the river. So,
so true. But I think people, I don't know. Okay, Weekend, do your thing. What else you got, Tanya B?
You better call somebody and don't call the Gigi Hadid. He better. Anyway.
Well, maybe if he collaborates with, I remember.
He's gonna have to.
With who collaborated with Red Hot Chili Peppers? They always do some kind of collaboration. If they do a creative collaboration, it might get everybody excited. But okay. Good luck to him.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Exactly. Go call Bruce Springsteen or Aerosmith. A lot of stars now are getting into the beauty business. Rihanna's got her line. Alicia Keys, who went with her no makeup, minimal makeup situation. And now Pharrell, a man, he's got a skincare line called Human Race. And he's also launching a makeup line. So, all things considered, Pharrell is closer to his AARP card than most people can remember. And whatever he's doing seems to work. He got some good black don't crack. So
you ain't lying, because Pharrell looks like he's still 20.
Exactly.
What was the group? Nerd? What was his group?
Yeah. NERD. He was in Nerd. Yes.
Yeah, he still looks like the same guy who came out in Nerd. So yeah, he's doing the Benjamin Button on us, man. So
with the hat and the
yeah, going backwards. He's going backwards. That's what he's doing. So yeah, okay. Good luck, Pharrell. Good luck, man.
Okay, and now we all know that you got to put some respect on it when you say the name Patti LaBelle, the godmother of soul. Mm-hmm. Well, her sister passed away. Sister Jackie passed away some years ago, and Jackie had a son, Billy, and a daughter, Stacy, and Patti actually adopted them. But baby, Billy Holt has lost his mind. He is embarrassing.
Oh.
Auntie Mom, Miss Patti, all up and through social media with his conservative Cheeto 45 support.
Oh, God.
Twitter busted him. He was creating these fake accounts and fake IDs to promote racism and sexism. Now I ask you, is that necessary? So they shut him down, but he allegedly had the nerve to twist his mouth and say this. Black women will be the death of America. And I'm like, excuse me? Damn. What about your mother? What about your Auntie Mom Patti? What about your sister Stacy? You gonna talk about Kamala Harris gonna be the death of America and all of these women of color who are now in political office? He need to go somewhere and sit down and be quiet. He even tried to drag Obama and Biden. So he said he did this because he didn't like the way that people were treating Cheeto 45. Like I said, he better stop dragging Patty's name up and through the mud and go back to his landscaping job if he still has one.
No, I mean, people don't realize that what Cheeto, what happens to, to the Orange Bandit basically is self-inflicted. I mean, it's not even, everything that he gets is self-inflicted. I mean, he brings it on himself.
He brings it on himself.
So, and then for him, you just don't be messing with grandmas who've been through the civil rights. They've been through the civil rights struggles and grew up in all that stuff. You don't piss them off.
This is Patty. You don't piss off Miss Patty because she'll throw the shoe at you. Right. Trust and believe.
Of a certain age, you just don't do that. So, wow. So, yeah, he deserves what he gets.
Right.
If he gets the shoe, let him get the shoe. Get the shoe. There you go.
Trust me. Right, just boy bye. Okay, let's talk about in this week's stunt news. You see, Lil Wayne is allegedly back together with his BBW boo Denise Bideau. That was like some old whatever.
So they're back together. Okay, cool.
For the moment.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Hey, so are Lamar Odom and Sabrina Parr. Now, they were together for a year. They broke up a week ago. And now 7 days later, they're back together to go on a vacation to celebrate the 1 year of their engagement. Well, if you broke up, but really, I think Sabrina is a stunt queen. Because, she and Lamar were out there trying to shop that reality show and there were no takers.
Yeah.
And this is a woman who was in jail before for stabbing her husband in the head with a trophy. And I just found out that...
What kind of trophy? Damn.
And it wasn't that little one you get for being, best dressed on the baseball team.
I hope it wasn't the bowling trophy. Damn.
We'll leave. Look.
Oh my God.
She has a mugshot. It's very easy to find. So she did some time. So she did some damage to that man. But I didn't know she had 2 kids. So she just kicked her kids to the curb to go run after Lamar on the promise of a come up. And I think since they can't shop this reality show, I think what they're doing is trying to stunt like Safari and Erica Mena and Darius McCrary and what's her name? Courtney Stark, whatever her name is, to get on Marriage Boot Camp. Because again, the people on Marriage Boot Camp aren't married, and that's where they can get a check.
Well, you know what?
They're both deadbeat parents, which is crazy.
Yeah, Chloe was saying that Lamar still has demons. He still has issues. So, I mean, they didn't specifically say what it was, but, he's still struggling with some stuff. So, I believe that may not end well.
Chloe, let me tell you something. Yeah. Chloe ain't one to talk because word from the curb is that, and I know she's an OG thought, that's what it is. Scottie Pippen's ex-wife, Larsa Pippen, was dating Tristan Thompson. Yes, she's still trying to get something going. And she took him to a party at the Kardashians, and 10 days later, Tristan Thompson dumped her and hooks up with Chloe. So Chloe need to go somewhere and sit down.
Keep it moving.
So if you don't want somebody stealing your man, don't take him around the Kardashians.
No, that ain't right. What you got next?
Karma. Let's talk about. This one thing I want to talk about.
2-minute warning. 2-minute warning. By the way, 2-minute warning. Here we go.
Okay. Do you remember the rapper Shine? He was involved in that situation with Puffy and Jennifer Lopez, and he's the one that went to jail and did the 14-year bid.
Yep, I remember him. Yep.
Okay, well, Shine got out of jail in 2009. He studied and got himself together while he was in jail, and he wasn't a citizen, so he got deported to his home country of Belize, but it's okay because he just got elected to the Belize House of Representatives. Can we give him a round of applause?
Yeah, let me give it up because that whole situation was a mess. And candidly, I think
Puffy paid him, and he took the bid for him.
He was the fall guy. He was definitely the fall guy. So good for him.
Yeah.
Good deal, Sean.
And he's from, a very politically connected family because his dad was the first Black prime minister of Belize. So,
wow. Good for him.
Good for him.
Good for him. I'm glad. Because I hated to see that happen. Everybody knew that. I'm not going to say, but Puffy, come on now. Come on. Y'all know Puffy shot that dude.
I'm too pretty to go to jail.
Of course.
I'm too pretty.
But
let me be quiet. He might have enjoyed. Anyway, let's talk about.
Look at her.
Another edition of New Edition. Now, recently, Ralph Tresvant has had this documentary that's airing on the UMC, the Urban Movie Channel. It's not free, so I haven't seen it, but I don't feel bad.
Yeah.
But I guess, and also in his attempts to get his new song "All Mine" to sell, because it's not, he just really, put it out there. But one thing he did say in some other recent interviews is that, there was this dissension and a split because the name New Edition was abandoned. Johnny Gill had the business sense to buy the name. Then he co-owned it with Ralph Tresvant. Well, the other guys were mad. That's how you got the RBMB situation.
Wow. I didn't know that.
But, it's like, okay, let's do a Rolling Stones. Let's put the personal crap aside. Let's sit down and work this out. And they have done that. So now all of them equally own the name New Edition.
Good for them. I'm glad to hear that.
Yes. But the good thing is new music is due from New Edition around Valentine's Day of 2021. But then I heard Bobby is struggling. So is it really a New Edition reunion without him and his antics? And who wants to go see New Edition anywhere without hearing Mr. Telephone Man?
Yeah, well,
that was Bobby Brown's song, y'all. So
just, when Bobby gets on stage, just have a whole lot of towels because that brother be sweating. What is
it? That's in an oxygen tank, please.
That? But anyway, hey, just real quick, I got to give it up to Netflix, y'all, because I had not planned on watching Jingle Jangle this week, and I did watch it, and I will tell you, it is like a holiday Hamilton. Kudos to John Legend. Well, first of all, David Talbot. This is, almost like Chitlin Circuit played back in the day. David Talbot, who also did one of my other favorite Christmas movies, Almost Christmas, which is, Monique, Danny Glover.
That's hilarious. Yes. No, he took the mama, hilarious. Don't take my big piece of chicken plate.
So he, but Jingle Jangle, stars, you got Forrest Whitaker, you've got Felicia Rashad, you've got Keegan-Michael Key, Anika, Noni Rose, Ricky Martin. It is just a phenomenal movie. I mean, I'm here to tell you, the young girl who plays the character of Journey. And see, I grew up, we all grew up on the holiday movies. We didn't have, 2 million channels of cable. I mean, it was like, 3 channels, and, we had to sit down and watch whatever came on. But we, you see the Wizard of Oz, original Willy Wonka, all these holiday movies, Wonderful Life. And I'm here to tell you, this is a masterpiece. It's going to go down as a masterpiece for David Talbot. And the brother's come a long way from like First Sunday with Cube and Cat Williams. He's come a long way.
He's come a long way from Mama Don't. Remember that one?
Yeah, I remember Mama Don't. and so when I watched this, I mean, it really and truly, I'm with pride, man, they went into some details to do this thing. So I got to say hats off, kudos to Netflix for doing it the way they did it. They put money into it. It ain't cheap. When you see it, they filmed it. It's filmed in England. It's filmed in the UK. It's shot in the UK. Very diverse. Lots of you got Afro beats. You got. I mean, it's just it's like holiday. Hamilton. So
soul holiday.
But it's really good, and it has a great message. The kids will like it. Well produced, well written, star power. I can't say enough about it. It ain't perfect, but keep in mind, and y'all know this, when a lot of those, like the classic movies came out, like Miracle
on 34th Street.
Yeah. Even when you talk about this type of movie has, the fantasy, not necessarily animation, but it has elements of that. Those movies were kind of panned, like Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Not the original one was with Gene, what's his name?
Wilder.
Yeah, Gene Wilder. It was panned. I mean, the critics kicked it to the curb, and a lot of those movies that became, Wizard of Oz was kicked to the curb. It was panned by critics, and those movies become favorites, classics to this day. So, but. The good news is for David Talbot, he's getting great reviews for this movie. I think it had a 95% on Rotten Tomatoes. I don't pay attention to the critics, but I do pay attention to, just the general public and what the public gives it. And, I can't say enough about it. It's just so well done. I didn't know Forrest Whitaker could sing. Did y'all know?
Oh, yeah.
Well, from where?
I've seen it.
You've seen him sing? Now, I do remember, what was Black Nativity? He was in Black Nativity. Right. And he did sing a little bit in Black Nativity. Yeah. So he
sang.
But he's he's got a pretty good voice.
For Whitaker is well rounded.
Yeah, he did a great job. I didn't know Anika Noni Rose, if that was her voice, could sing as well. I mean,
she's a Broadway star. She's the real deal. I'm
just floored. I'm gonna watch it again. I might do like a Wonderful Life. Watch it every day.
What else is coming to Netflix?
What else?
Debbie Allen, her hot chocolate nutcracker, and it's awesome to see like the nutcracker, because you always saw people that didn't look like any of us. Yeah. And she's got, black and brown girls, and Debbie Allen is still into her dance, and she's got the Dance Academy. So I believe it's December 19th. You can check out Hot Chocolate Nutcracker on Netflix. And don't forget, November 19th, HBO Max, The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air reunion. And then wait, The Fresh Prince has a 2-season commitment. And the reboot is a drama, but Vi is on Peacock, and that's free, y'all.
Oh, Vi.
I haven't watched Peacock yet.
You know, Vi gets mad as Vi gets mad every time I do that. He's like, man, I'm paying for everything. He's like, come on, man. You know you be watching.
Not Peacock.
But you know what? I love Peacock and I love Pluto. Hats off, because I mean, sometimes I get tired of. I just turn Pluto on and just watch Pluto. So I'm down with that. I'm down. I'm with you. Power to the people. Yeah, huh? To what?
I do have Pluto. I don't have Peacock yet.
Yeah, go ahead and get Peacock, man. Amber, because the Amber. I want to call her Amber
Ruffin. I think David Ruffin. Amber Ruffin, yes.
Is fun. Every time I think I should say Ruffin, I'm like, damn, my name ain't Ruffin. But it is Ruffin. It is funny as hell. But y'all, I'm glad you mentioned Fresh Prince. One more thing, and I'm, and we're going to get ready to close this thing out. But, because I'm just so overjoyed that the White House, ain't going to be the Orange House for very long. I did watch one more Netflix, Michael J. White in the movie. It's so bad, it's kind of good. Sudden Death.
I love that movie.
Welcome, Sudden Death. What? Say what?
I love that movie.
It's so, come on, Vi. Come on.
Hey, I loved it. He's fighting. He's kicking butt.
He's moving like Steven Seagal, though. He's starting to move like Steven.
You sure you didn't watch That's Black Dynamite?
I love Black Dynamite.
No, he's kicking butt.
The reason I watched it is because I'm such a fan of Black Dynamite can do no wrong. Black Dynamite
I agree.
Can do no wrong. But I'm here to tell you. I mean, and then what's the comedian's name? I know you're talking about the white dude that played the comedian. You know him, Tanya B.
The white comedian who thinks he's black.
Yeah, he thinks he's black.
Gary Owens.
Gary Owens is hilarious.
He's funny. He has a chocolate wife. Thank you very much.
That was a good movie.
Well, it's funny. It's hilarious. I guess it's almost like it's a spoof to a certain extent. It's just he's moving karate like Steven Seagal, but he's got some moves though. He is martial arts trained. So I'm not gonna hit him in the head too hard. All right.
Please don't.
So you loved it though, Vi, right?
I did. I sure did.
Okay. Hey y'all.
Been out for a while.
Yeah, well, I just saw it this weekend. I just wanted to bring that to y'all's attention that I called.
We have to welcome new people to the podcast. We have some new listeners.
Oh, who? Go ahead. Check them out.
We've got Brenda and Juanita in Baltimore. We've got Debbie in Delaware. We've got the Johnson family in Boston, Massachusetts. And my family is tuned in once again in Maryland.
Oh, awesome. Awesome. And I got to shout out the folks who are on, definitely checking us out on the webinar who signed up for the live as well. So thank you. If you are currently checking us out as we tape right now, we appreciate you. Thank you so much. Hey, real quick.
I do.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. I know you do. Don't forget, y'all, go to Georgia.gov. If you're in Georgia, if you ain't in Georgia, don't be trying to corrupt the election. But if you are in Georgia, go ahead and go to Georgia.gov and vote. Don't forget, don't listen to the hype. December 1st, state and local races, voter registration deadline was October 5th, so you can't get beyond that. And January 5th is the actual race, the federal
runoff,
race.
Yes.
The runoff. And the voter registration deadline, it says, is December 7th for that January 5th opportunity. So all you got to do is go to Georgia.gov if you got any questions and do your thing. Y'all know what time it is. You ready?
I'm ready, bro.
All right, I'm going to have to do it. Do I have to do it? Do I have to do it again?
Do it.
I didn't come here to preach to you today.
Here's your inspirational moment with Vi.
All right, Vi, do your thing, man.
All right, I have a quote my brother from another mother sent to this me. It says, "Don't let the devil steal your joy. Shake off the gloom he's trying to cover you with. Praise in the face of your problem. Sing in the midst of your stress. Shout hallelujah, for God is still holding your hand." Amen. Amen, my people.
Amen, Vi. Amen. Go ahead, Tanya B. You can jump in now. You ready?
Hallelujah. Yes.
And I got to say again, thank you so much, Onyi at onyi.love. Thank you so much for coming in and doing the podcast this week. Vi, as always, man, you can go ahead and watch your, you gonna watch it again, Michael J. White movie one more time, and I'm gonna
watch the Jingle. You've been inspired me to watch Jingle Jangle.
Now, if you want to wait till Christmas Eve.
No, I'm gonna wait that. I wasn't gonna wait that long. I'm more listening like next weekend or something.
All right, cool. All right. Well, thank you, man. Thank you for doing what you do. Tanya B, as always, thank you for dropping that tea and doing your thing as you always do, y'all. And with that, man, we are at episode number 60 next week, y'all. Number 60. But with that,
60.
Episode 59 is in the can, and we are out of here. Peace.
Vote. Barack Obama on 60 Minutes. Vote.
You've been listening to the G Podcast with your host, Tommy B. The G Podcast is a production of the Castropolis Podcast Network. Thanks for listening.